the years, there have been certain things the NFL has tried to keep from the fans, such as scandals, concussions, and controversies. But what else has the NFL tried to hide? There are certain camera angles known as the All-22. These cameras sit up high in the stands at the 50-yard line and behind the end zone, and they show the entire field. And as you might have guessed, it shows all 22 players on the field. These special camera angles are also known as coaches' film, and they're used to analyze and break down some of the X's and O's. Since coaches are able to see every player on the field with these special angles, they will sit and analyze each individual's performance on a particular play several times. This means they could watch a single play up to around 50 times. Coaches felt that their access to these special angles gave them an advantage as far as how they viewed the game. The angles also have its advantages for players who study the film to help better their performance on the field. Some notable film junkies include New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady and Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Tyreek Hill. For many years, these exclusive angles weren't available to fans and media, and those watching at home only get to see what's going on in the game depending on where the ball is. This leaves out plenty of the action happening on the field, such as busted coverages or missed blocking assignments. And for a long time, if anyone outside of the NFL asked to see the special All-22 footage, the answer would be a resounding no. The league considered the footage to be proprietary NFL coaching information. However, arguments were made that given professional football's growing complexity, fans, as well as pure students of the game, can't get a full understanding of the game without being able to see everything that goes on during the play. As former NFL coaching legend Bill Parcells once said, "I don't think you can get a full understanding without watching the entirety of the game." The zoomed-in footage on TV broadcasts only show a fragment of what happens on the field. And the NFL is far and away the most watched sports league in America. Annually, the league makes over $7 billion a year in TV revenue. But despite being the most watched sport, it's also the least understood. Boy, there's some dummies out there. Understanding everything that goes on the gridiron during a football game has always been a difficult task. Then around 2011, the idea of the NFL releasing this exclusive footage to fans at a premium price began being tossed around by league officials. But there was still plenty of hesitation surrounding the idea. One of the reasons for this was the idea that releasing the footage to the public would result in much more scrutiny from ill-informed fans and media toward players and coaches. Longtime NFL executive Michael Lombardi said in an article for NFL.com that it's one thing to simply watch the All-22 coverage. It's quite another to understand what's really happening on the field. There are people in some personnel departments across the league who will watch the All-22 and not be certain which players deserve blame and which ones deserve praise. This is not a knock on personnel folks, but rather a tribute to the complexities involved in just one football play. He continued by adding, "Professional football has become a game of high-level chess. Therefore, if the people critiquing the All-22 tape are not well-versed in the strategy, the potential for misinformation becomes even greater. Correctly studying the All-22 requires a complete understanding of schemes, both offensive and defensive, and what each player is supposed to do on each play." Former NFL general manager and member of the NFL's competition committee, Charlie Casserly, was also against making All-22 footage available for similar reasons as Lombardi. He believed that fans would jump to conclusions after watching a couple of games in All-22 footage without knowing the full story. Another argument against releasing the All-22 footage was that some believed that access to the footage would end up making everyone expert. And if this were the case, then fans would end up becoming much less likely to tune into the network's extended coverage of the NFL, where analysts and former players break down a magnitude of information and strategy going on during the course of a game. Basically, the NFL wants to keep the fans ignorant towards the game. Another possible reason that the NFL was trying to keep this footage from the fans was so that fans didn't experience watching a game as a real game, but rather a hyperreal production of a game. An article in The Atlantic used an analogy which compared this idea to that of war movies. It stated the following: in a war or military movie, while there may be a few establishing shots of the battlefield, more often than not, the camera is tight on the soldiers' faces, on the guns, or there are medium shots of a handful of men or less. Can you imagine watching a 10-minute battle scene all done from a zoomed out fixed camera on a crane? No, it's not done, because what tends to really grip us as viewers are the people and individuals, easily observable physical acts and dramas. The article summed up its point by saying that The broad context that the All-22 provides would detract from the narrative created by the shot choices and cuts chosen by the director of the televised coverage. Basically, the point of their argument is that the NFL is way more exciting on TV. And the main concern from the NFL was worry over the fans thinking that with access to the All-22 camera angles, they would instantly become experts of the game, when that just simply wasn't going to be the case. But then in 2012, the NFL finally gave in to the fans' wishes. The league announced that it would begin allowing access to the highly sought after film. The footage was available through the NFL.com Game Rewind package. And of course, this did come with a hefty price tag for season-long coverage. Fans had the option to choose from 3 different packages. Game Rewind coverage of just one team with select plays available in all 22 was going for $34.99. Game Rewind coverage of every game with select plays throughout the season cost the fans $39.99. Then the most expensive package offered classic Super Bowl games, archives of games from 2009 to 2011, and every play from every game over the course of the season for $69.99. Nice. This was known as the Superfans package and also allowed all 22 access throughout the playoffs and Super Bowl, which helped justify the price. So while the NFL was concerned over whether or not allowing fans access to this once very exclusive footage would be beneficial, they would at least be making money off of it either way. Another thing that was for certain with fans being allowed access to all 22 is that it would change the way people, especially those in the sports media world, would write about the game. This is something the NFL expressed concerns about before. However, CBSSports.com writer Will Brinson had a much more optimistic take on how this would broaden the knowledge of fans and those in the business who didn't previously have access to such footage. He said this will bring an improved discourse among fans and between fans and the media. This is particularly important in a day and age when various interactive mediums like Twitter have changed things from a one-way post-game reaction into a real-time interactive form of conversation. He also added, what you're gonna see is smart tape-based football analysts like Chris Brown of Grantland, Doug Farrar of Yahoo Sports, or Andy Benoit. Fantastic new era sites like ProFootballFocus.com and Football Outsiders, plus many more football minds increasing their ability to provide X and O's based information to fans of football. His colleague Mike Freeman was on the other side of the fence about this issue though. He said allowing access to all 22 footage could be one of the NFL's greatest tactical errors. This was due to having the same opinion as many other naysayers over the issue. It would cause fans and sports media personalities to second-guess coaches. Brinson said that he disagreed with Freeman while making some good points as to why. Brinson was quoted as saying the following, "Personally, I disagree. That's not because fans will question coaches less. I just think that anyone watching football is gonna end up questioning and complaining and ranting about various decisions made by coaches and various mistakes made by players, regardless of what sort of access they have. When people stop complaining and questioning football decisions, that's when the league will have a problem, because there won't be any interest in the game. Plus, making the All-22 available to the public isn't going to instantly turn every single person with $70 and some free time into the next Greg Cosell, or if you prefer, the next Pete Prisco. This was perhaps one of the best takes on the whole All-22 situation. Are fans and media alike going to complain and second-guess coaches? Yes. But that's just how people watching football always have been and always will be. Believing they know more than the coach when something goes wrong in a game is nothing new to sports fans. So allowing these people access to once exclusive footage for coaches isn't going to make them experts of the game overnight. They won't all of a sudden understand the ins and outs of the game like coaches do, also taking into consideration the price tag that comes with having access to this footage. Some may be driven away from viewing any All-22 content, thus curbing some potential complainers. However, those who are fine with the price tag and obtained access are just making the NFL more money, which helps calm the league's nerves. It has now been years since the NFL started allowing fans to view the All-22 camera angles, and there is yet to be any threatening issues to the NFL over fans and media second-guessing coaches. So I guess we can all rest easy and simply enjoy this once exclusive footage of the NFL.